Good sir, and good morning, students. Welcome for the today's first session of SAP. Right now we have Nagraj sir with us. Nagraj, you can continue with your class. I think sir we should wait for 5 to 10 minutes. Right now only 24 attendees are there.
Sure, Kunal. Sure. Yeah, we'll wait for now, maybe say five or 7 or 8 minutes. Then we will start.
Sure, sir. Sure.
In the meantime, students, good morning. Good morning, Kunal. Thank you. So
Thank you,
we
sir. Good
will.
morning.
You're most welcome. The session is open for questions. Most welcome to ask me any questions. I would have muted myself, but any case you can feel free to ask me questions.
Sir, sir,
Kunal,
I think we can start the class because it went to 40.
42. Okay. I think there were 90 plus. So we
Correct,
are
correct,
just
sir.
seeing half of them. But anyway, I mean, I can start with the recap and I can proceed. That should not be a problem. Good morning, good morning. Right? So students, shall we start? It will be good if you can, if we can start the session with any of your question. In the meantime, let us also give some time to the others to join. Just give me a moment. Okay, let the others join in. So since there are no questions for me on the SAP side, I would start off. So yesterday we went and we had a feel of how the practical SAP looks like. What are the activities that not exactly a consultant, but at least what is the concept of a document, how a document number is uh, generated by SAP, what is a number range, what is a document type. So let us just have a quick recap of whatever we did yesterday. So this is the most important statement. There is no transaction in SAP without a document type and the associated document number being generated. Yeah. So this you should bear it in mind. So we had different portions of a document, the header and the line item portion. And we also saw, and we also, what should I say? I also said that the header and the line item, they are getting stored or they are getting saved in the database in two different tables. Yep. So the larger information or the broad information of the document. All right. So that is held in the header table, which is indicated by a BKPF. And the line item, all your GL accounts, the amount, and various other informations, whatever you give it to the transaction is held in the B-SEC table. Let us not go about where you see it and how you see it, how you see the table, right? Anyway, if the situation demands, I will definitely show you how you need to have a look at the table. What is a table, how it looks like, we'll all see. But first, let us finish the first things first, and later, let us expand our learn. Yeah. So you can see. So we also have various document types. Of course, we have not seen the accounts receivable and accounts payable side, which we are going to shortly have a look. Maybe say tomorrow we will start with the introduction to the AP and the AR submodules. Clear? Now, we still have some things more for us to know about the document and what exactly happens in this. So we also learned that in the standard SAP screen, we have F1 for help. So you go to the field, you place the cursor on the field, and you press F1, you'll get the SAP help. I think we saw that yesterday, right? Now, F4 for drop down. Drop down in the sense, you remember you saw an icon next to the field where we got to know if there was any predefined data contained in that specific field. And we also came to know that not every field will have this feature. Okay? Not every field will be having this drop down feature. Okay? Now, F8 is your execution. For executing a transaction. Now, what else did we learn? Did we learn anything else? Not that I remember. Fine. Okay. If you remember something, please let me know. I will just revise that topic also. So we came to know about the different screens in SAP. One is meant for the end user to carry out his routine activities. The other screen basically is required only and only by the consultant for designing the SAP product to suit the business needs. Yeah. Now, anything else? Okay. So we also saw the methodology for navigating within the consultant screen and the methodology employed to navigate within the end user screen is a little different. Clear? And let me also add a point. Not many users will be given access to this particular place in SAP as far as the live projects in SAP they are considered. Almost no end user would be given access to this particular consultant screen. So yesterday I tried to use a transaction code, and what did SAP say? It said you're not authorized to use this transaction code. Similar message will appear when the end users they start to enter into the consultant's screen. It is blocked. Yep. So you're actually you have a restricted access to the SAP screens or to the SAP product. Yep. Any questions? So anything else we discussed yesterday? So we understood the process as to how you need to probably, I assume that you would have maybe you would have gone through that documentation which Madam was referring to in the enable. She showed you the place where you can see the document as far as the downloading of the GUI is concerned. And in your content, you also have a wonderfully designed video and a exhaustive document to help you to download this GUI. Clear, students? Any questions? Good morning. Good morning. All right. Now, let me move on. And the other thing what we noted yesterday was you need not have any, or rather, you need not have to remember the posting keys or the document type at all. SAP automatically picks both the information based on the transaction you are entering into. Yeah. So you don't have to remember, but it's good to know, and experience teaches you what exactly, I mean, you will remember, you will definitely automatically remember most of the things. Whatever you are using day in and day out, obviously you will definitely, and these things will obviously get into your system. Okay. And you don't have to say remember the, so even if this is the case even with the transaction codes also, as and when you start putting in more and more efforts to learn SAP, this transaction codes, your posting keys, your document types, and most of the other things, they will they will be automatically forming a part of your system. You don't have to worry about it. Okay. Now, yesterday I also entered a few general ledger accounts. How do you think I'm remembering all those GL accounts? It is through the constant use of the SAP system. Okay. And we also saw, okay, we finished with this. And you have the concept of posting. So what I'll do is probably I will actually enter into the activity of posting. So what did I say the posting was? It is a it is an activity which is permanent in nature. You cannot rectify any of the posted or the saved entities in SAP, or even if it is possible, it will be a little cumbersome. It may not be so very easy for you to make changes to the already entered data, whether it is master or transaction. Now, let us add, why did I say it is the permanent nature of SAP? It is because we also saw that this particular transaction affects the GL accounts and goes and hits the financial books directly. So once when you post, there is no question of looking back. Yeah. Now shall we go through the process, students? Or shall I finish little theory and then go to the practical side? However you want. I see very less attendance today, only 67. I'll just wait for 2 more minutes for your answers. Okay, I will proceed. So now SAP has also given you an option where you can temporarily store a document. So here we were discussing about post the process of posting transactions, or rather the activity of posting. Now there is another activity called as parking of documents. So which this is parking of your document and also holding of the documents. So what are these two? Why has SAP given you these options? Now, both this park and hold, they are temporary. They do not affect the financials. Do not, they do not have any effect on the financial position. Why has SAP given me these two? Uh, Let me give you a practical example. Now, parking. Parking is one of the most important activities, or rather, I'll talk to you about hold, but maybe we do not use more of holding and we use more of parking. The first and the foremost is, I said, temporary. And later, this parked document, it gets converted into a posted entry. 99 out of the 100 parked documents, they definitely get converted into the posted document. But why does one document may or may not qualify for posting? It is a management decision. Probably you have parked a document, okay, and the management may feel this is not at all required. So in parking, SAP is generating the document number. SAP generates the document number here, just like you saw in the post activities, you saw the SAP system generating the document number. And to add, you have, sorry, I'm coming back to the document number range, external and internal number range. I probably hope that you are comfortable with these terminologies. Internal number range is that where SAP is generating the document number on its own. External is one where SAP system expects the document number to be given by the user, by the owner of the document. Yeah. And yesterday you also saw the whole details of the document. Who has entered, at what time was a transaction entered? Okay, what was the transaction code? Clear? Now, so here again, we have SAP generating the document number, but the only difference is post affects the financial position. The parking does not affect the financial position. Now, why SAP has given you this feature? Now, I join a company, maybe say I'm just 1 week or 15 days or maybe say 1 month. I'm new to the company and I'm supposed to enter some documents. Now just imagine if a newcomer like me enters the document and I've also been given the feature to post. If at all there is anything wrong, because I may commit mistakes. while entering the document, I may commit mistakes. All right. So the management will not give me the option to post the document at all. So it stops my authorization only to park, so that my superior or my manager will see the document and see if everything is right. And then he will decide to or decide the time as to when he can post the document. Clear? Now the second thing. Now suppose I am working in the accounts payable department. All right. Now, if I post, let me say, I need the management wants to release payments to the vendors. Yeah. Now, if at all I am given the authorization to post the vendor invoice, it immediately goes and sits as a liability in your SAP system. But if I am allowed only to park the document, the manager, my manager, will take a decision as to when he can actually push this invoice for payment. Meaning, if at all I have a discount, I can enjoy a discount. That is, if at all there could be an arrangement between my organization and the vendor saying that 15 days is the window for you to release the payment. So if at all I post the document within, if at all it goes and hits the SAP system. So there are chances that even before the discount term, the invoice may be released. And that as an end user, I may not know. I may not know that we are enjoying 15 days discount. It's only my manager. Okay. And superior level, they will only know. So I, as a junior level employee, I will be given option to only park. Now my manager will take a decision, maybe say 1 or 2 days before, whether he should release the payment. If he should release the payment, maybe say tomorrow or the day after, then he will convert my park document into the posted document. Yeah. And also now this process is referred to as the workflow. Workflow in the sense, let me also put that word. You may not find this word in your content, but this is exactly what we have come across in our live projects. So now I am a clerk. Okay. So I will be, even if I'm given the powers to post a document, I may do so only for a value, say, maybe say up to 10 lakhs invoice only. So the management feels confident enough to give me that permission to post documents to a value up to say 10 lakhs or maybe say even 15 lakhs. So any other invoice which has a larger value greater than this 10 lakhs, I would not be given the authorization to post. I will be authorized only to park. That also is possible. So what happens now through the process of workflow, I will be restricted. I need to set up the system saying that these particular user can only park invoices only to or can post invoices only to a certain value. So invoices over and above this particular value, it goes, the mail is actually forwarded by the system to the superior, saying that an invoice greater than 10 lakhs has been parked in the system. So please check here. So this could be the method. We also had the process of workflow for leave approval, then PO approval. Okay. When the topic comes up, I will tell you. I'm not very sure if this is there. All right. So to have control, to have better control over the flow of the data, SAP has given you a option to either park or hold a document. Park is actually more important. Okay. Hold, I don't know. At least I don't remember having used the hold feature, but park, yes. Now I will take you straight away into the SAP system to show you that. I'll just log in. So I'll go to accounting. And students, let us today, even before we park a document, let us try to add a general ledger account to our chart of accounts or to our company code directly. Okay. Let us learn that. Suppose I am in need of a new general ledger account. How would the user or how would the consultant create it? Okay. So normally as a consultant or in the live project scenario, I'm supposed to use only the chart of accounts option. I'm not supposed to use the company code or the centrally option. But anyway, I'm going to use the centrally option so that I can add the general ledger account both in the chart of accounts as well as in the company. Students, are you understanding this? Now let me check what are the options available for what are the general ledger accounts available. Okay. Let me add. Okay, I can add this or I can so it says no matches found. So what I'll try to do is there are two ways of creating the general ledger account. One is with template in the sense you remember we explained this concept or we went through this concept when in some or the other posting with reference. Post with reference. What was that post with reference? If you do not recollect, just hold. Now just concentrate on this. So there are basically one is you can give your own information on your own, or you can copy the information from an already existing similar natured general ledger account. Now I'll copy. So it will ask me what is the source general ledger account 473001, company code GM01. Students, are you able to understand this point? I am very sure, since I am the owner of this chart of accounts, I am sure that there is a general ledger account 473001. But my requirement is I am creating another sample expense account 473005 by taking the help of an already existing expense account, because I'm creating an expense account here. See, 473001 is already a test postage account. Clear? Now I would make it as what should I say? Test expenses account. Okay, I'm not going to change any other thing. So I will save this data. Data was saved. You are getting a message. Now suppose I want to create another general ledger account without template. So 473006 is not there. I want to create. Yeah. Enter. I'm not saying I want to. I would say I want to create. I'm not taking with template. I'm not taking the help of SAP. I'm not taking the help of an already existing general ledger account. So I would say create. See, now everything is blank. So I need to start from the scratch. I need to classify to which account group it is belonging. Is it a P&L account or is it a balance sheet account? What is the English? What is the explanation? And what is the control data information? What is the field status group? But when I said with template, all this information automatically came into the new general ledger account. Clear, students? Anyway, I'm not going to create this. Anyway, I'm going to create one more general ledger account. 113110. 110 is also there. 115. 120. Okay. Now I want to create this. I'm just trying to create a sample bank account. So I have created two new general ledger accounts. Clear? Now I would use this for parking. To explain the process of parking, I will try to use these two general ledger accounts. So I would go to the document entry. Now, yesterday we saw the first option of you entering the journal vouchers, FB50. But the most commonly used in the live SAP scenario, the most commonly used option for the users to enter the journal vouchers is F-02. What is F-02? It is a transaction code. For what? For entering a journal voucher. Double click. Just see the difference. Absolutely, there is no rocket science in this. I'll give the same date. Company code is GM01. I do not want to give C. In FB50, you did not see the document type, but in F-02, you can see the document type. Scroll down, move down. You already have the first general ledger account taking up the posting key 40. Normally it is debit to credit, right? It is not credit to debit, right? So that's why it has followed that principle. So what was the GL account that I created? 416473, sorry, 473006. Am I right? I forgot the GL account which I created. So what I would do is I will simply give a star. So office expenses 40, test expenses account 40473,005. All right, enter. So I have entered the debit side of the transaction 473,005. I pressed enter now. So it has taken me into the details of that particular expense account. Now, all this data you could see in a horizontal way in your FB50. I moved to the right and showed you all these fields in FB50 in the earlier data entry screen. But the difference is here, the data or the fields are arranged in different way. Yeah. So I enter a simple, like say 5,550 being the all right, being the test expenses. So now I would just want to have one credit, one debit, one credit, more than enough. 1131 or 120, right? Is relevant to taxi. It is throwing up a message saying that the expense account is subjected to tax. But since the message is in yellow or in the lighter color, I can bypass this message. I know it requires tax. Logically, it does require tax, but it is still okay. Enter. Now it takes me into the test bank account. So here I will enter a star. So here the significance of me giving a star is, suppose I had 100 debits and I have maybe say 20 credits. The last credit, I don't know the amount. So what I do, I simply enter a star there and SAP picks up the plus and the minus and puts the balance. Here I have only one line item. It is still okay. Here. And for the text to repeat, what did I give? Being the test expenses. In my first screen, I enter the text expenses. So I want the text to repeat. So if at all you want the text to get repeated, you can enter a plus sign. Now see what happens. I'm clicking enter. Can you see? It has taken up the amount and also the text. Dear students, did you understand the significance of plus and star? Now, what I'll do is I will actually park the document. More document park. I'll park this document. Okay, now see, now let us see what happens. Park. So document 1000156 was parked in company code GM01. Can you see this? Left hand side down below. So 156. Why was this document number generated? Because SA was a document type and this was assigned to a specific series of numbers, document number range, and it was an internal number range. So as I said, normally we maintain the internal number range only. Clear? In most of the cases, we maintain the internal numbering range. Clear? Now, I want to see, I had made a statement that this wouldn't affect the financial position. This wouldn't have affected the books of accounts. How do I prove it? So go and see the balances of the general ledger account. I just want to pick up the balances of 120 and 473005. Correct? These are the debits and the credits which I have given. 5,550 rupees. Now I'll select this, all items, and I will execute. Can you see? No items selected. This is because you have not affected the financial books. For both the general ledger accounts, the entry is still parked. The document number 156 is still parked. It has no impact on the financials. Now, you can also ask the system to display the parked items. Can you see? And now if you see, if you execute, you will see that it will display. See, two items are getting displayed. Document number 156. These are the two general ledger accounts. Clear, students? Now, if you see the document now, suppose you want to go and see the, now I want to post. I want to convert this park document into a posted document. I find it is okay. I can push this to my financial books. Here. Now, what will I do? I will go to document. I'll pull out the park documents. Post or delete. Post or delete single screen transaction. You can only display. Now I want to pick any of these options. Post delete or post delete single screen transaction. Now it has automatically taken up the only one part document in my company code 156. Can you see this? Now I'll press enter on my keyboard. So this is the entry. I'm okay with it. I'm perfectly okay with this. Now what I can do, double click. I can change the amount. I can add data. Can you see that? When the document is parked, you can change. But when it gets posted, you cannot touch the document. Can you see the student? I can give any number of data and I can also change the amount. Still okay. Clear? See, but the document number I cannot change. It is grayed out. Clear? Now, if I want to add, now let me just go out of this. Okay. I will show you what exactly happens here. Just keep scrolling through. Check, check, check. I wanted to take you to a place. Say I can add general ledger accounts also. See, SAP also gives me the permission to add the transactions. I can add any number of debits, any number of credits. I can add to this parked document. So what and all can I change? I can change the amount, right? I can add, I can add to the entry. I can add any number of general ledger accounts. Yeah. So I just wanted to tell you that. Now, if I pull this document, now if I want to, I can post. I can post this document. I'm okay. I can post. I'll get a message. It's just a message. I have tried to post it. See, document number, has it changed? It will never, never change. The part, if you convert the same document, it retains the same number. It will not change. It will never, never change. Yeah. As I said, it's the audit trail. Now, if you see the balances, your GLs would have taken up the now I'll remove this. I'll remove this part. Now you will see that it is reflecting. Now this has updated your financial results. Clear, students? So this is the difference between your parking, the process of parking and the process of posting. I'll just take a 2-minute breather, allowing you to ask questions. Let me check if there are some questions. Students, how was this concept? Was it easy? Was it tough? Was it boring? Okay. Okay. Thank you. Any other questions for me? And the concept of hold. Let me go back to the same data entry or the, I can go to F-02 or FB50. In both the places you'll be having this hold. Can you see the place where I'm moving the cursor? The concept of hold maybe is a little different from that of the parking. Normally the hold, I do not remember. Now, the hold is also a temporary document. It does not affect the financials. But the only difference is user provides the document name. Here, SAP generated the document number, but here the user, just like he says, any Excel sheet or any Word file or any PDF or any PPT. In this case, SAP asks the user to save the document with a convenient name. So at a later point in time, the user may retrieve the document and complete the process. SAP will not generate the number. The user should provide the name. Again, I'm stressing name, and later convert it into a, let us say, post-it or a path document, whatever. So I can add one more line. When compared to the whole document, the park document is complete to a greater extent. Maybe say for a few changes here and there, the park document is almost is ready to get posted. But it is not so in the case of hold. The hold is incomplete to a larger extent. Yeah. Compared to the park document, the whole document is incomplete to a greater extent, and that is the reason as to why at least I have not used hold. Yes, parking is a part of your process, any project, but may not be with the hold. At least I have not worked on projects where you had the concept of hold. Okay, students, was this clear? Kunal, shall we break for 10 minutes?
Sure, sir.
Yeah.
Student, by 12 we will rejoin.
Students will just take a break for 10 minutes and we will reassemble by 12:10.
Sir, sir, Nagraj sir, Nagraj sir,
हाँ कुणाल बोलो. हाँ कुणाल बोलो. Yes, students. So is the concept understood? You may be asked, maybe say in the interview, how, what is parking, what is posting? You need not give elaborate answers. You need not give elaborate answers. Just use those right terms, okay? And you will be through with the answers. Clear? All the interviewer expects is very crisp answers and the usage of typical SAP terms, like say parking. So it's a temporary document. SAP generates the document number, does not affect the financials. That's it. Your answer is perfect. Clear? So this is how things move in SAP. Any questions, dear students? No questions? Shall I wait for maybe say 2 minutes? So probably when you carry out all these processes, once when you have the system, you may end up in some issues. Clear? It is not that you will encounter issues, but you may. All right. So I'll keep quiet for maybe say 1 or 2 more minutes and I will allow you to ask me questions. And in the meantime, I will also think if there is any other thing which I can add. Okay, I remembered a small topic. Hmm. Okay, so here some general concept or a generic concept called as favorites. Now we spoke about the theory in HANA where you said, or rather where we said the user has the flexibility to work only on his particular activity. Okay, so now as a salesman, I need to have the access only for the sales order. So I can have only that portion of SAP. So similarly, in the ECC term or in the ECC SAP system, you had a concept of favorites. Now, what do you mean by favorites? I may have to relog in, not a problem. Now, if I open the SAP system, So you see, that's why I said learn SAP in the use the longer route. So just keep doing all this. See, I'm just visiting each and every option. Add to favorites, delete from favorites. Now, what is this concept of favorites? Now you see, if you see the user screen, end user screen, I have this particular transaction, FB60, as the purchase invoices entry. I'll remove this. So I'll highlight this and say remove. So my favorites will be clean now. Just see, okay, you don't see anything in the favorites. Now let me assume a scenario where I work in the accounts receivable department and I am responsible for the sales invoice entry and also for the debtors, incoming payments. So what am I allowed to do? I'm allowed to pick up the invoice entry. So what I would do, this is accounts receivable. Under that, I have the document entry. Under this, I have the invoice. Again, in your AR and AP, just like you had your FB50 and your F-02 in the sense, two different ways of entering the journal voucher. Here again, you have two ways of entering the sales invoice and also the purchase invoice. Yeah, you can make use of any of the methodology. Clear? Now, so how do I, and I'm authorized to only these two transactions. So why would I want all this? And why do I want to actually go through the process of just navigating within the screen, finding out where the option is? So what I would do, I would simply put this transaction in my favorites in a place where I can retrieve it without having the need for me to navigate or to go through the whole system. Clear? So what I would do, I would click on this and say add to favorites. Now, as you can see, my favorites menu is empty. You can see the first line where I'm moving the cursor. It is empty. It has nothing. Now I have selected my activity and I'm adding it to my favorites. Now can you see it goes and sits right on top. I do not have to do all this at all. So as soon as I open my SAP system, I'm having my transaction already available. This is the concept which has got converted into your concept of tiles. Did I make a mention of that in my SAP when I said Fury? So I have made a mention tiles. So this is the extension of the tiles principle in your HANA system. So what was as favorites has got changed to your tiles or in your Fury. What is Fury? Just to repeat, you have the flexibility to have the SAP system based on your needs in your mobile or in your tab. Basically, this concept of Fury came to be used only in these particular devices. Clear? Just give me 1 minute. So clear, students? So you can keep adding. Now suppose I am responsible for collection of the customer's money. I can also do it. I'll find out the necessary option, go to that particular, say, incoming payments, select and add to favorites. So now I have both my activities in my favorites. So I can customize my working screen like this in your ECC system. Clear, students? Any questions? Any topic? I'm not necessarily restricting you to ask me questions relating to only one topic. I see no questions. So these are all the wonderful features offered by SAP. Clear? And these features have got a different name and a different way in your HANA, SAP HANA. Clear? So was there anything else to be added? Now, let me assume a scenario where I am a clerk and I cannot post or I cannot enter any document which has a value of more than maybe say 50 lakhs. So for a clerk, 50 lakhs is the amount where I cannot enter any transaction of a greater value. I'm not talking about parking or posting. Okay. Any document, I am not supposed to transact more than 50 lakhs. Yeah. Now, how do I ask the system to behave this way? Where my access or my range is capped. There is a cap. All right. Now, there is something called as tolerance. Tolerance group or tolerance groups where you can set this. I will put it here because this also is a very, very important topic. Clear? Based on concepts, conceptually, a very, very important topic. Just hold on. Just hold on, students. It's taking some time. All right. Now, I would want to add favorites in maybe say okay, let it be this. Let it be. Not. Now, where do you set this particular control? Now, in SAP, there is a concept called as tolerance groups, which is set by the consultant. But you will definitely have to know because somebody asked me for a flowchart yesterday. I will definitely provide maybe say uh, next week sometime where I'm through with all the topics which was the which formed the base for your learning, and later I will set up all the topics so that it can you can view it as a flowchart. Clear? Now, this is, as I said, the role of a consultant. Sorry. So I need to go to the consultant screen. I think I need to relog in. Okay, I'm going to the consultant screen. So I need to look for an option where I'm trying to set up a limitation for a user. Document. You don't have to, you don't have to remember this part, especially in the consultant screen. Okay. Tolerance groups. Define tolerance groups for employees. So one tolerance group is available at the company code level. Now I will try to create a tolerance group for myself. I can copy, or I think I would have already set GN. So I don't have, let me create, go to new entries, or maybe say I can copy. So I'll copy from the standard, copy. So I would say amount per document is maybe say 20 lakhs. Instead of 50 lakhs, let me keep it as 20 lakhs. And I will remove all this. I don't want any of this. All right. So what I'm trying to do is I'll set it for company code GM01. So I'm trying to create a tolerance group called GM01 where I'm setting it is 2 lakhs. I'll add one more 20 lakhs. Okay. I will save it. Yep. Now if I double click, and I will save. So can you see this? 20 lakhs. Now I'll assign this GM01 to my user ID. So I will go to new entries, give my user ID and save. Now I will try to enter a document. Yeah, I will try to enter a transaction. I'm entering 20 lakh 500 rupees. Same. Okay, now let me see if the system throws up an error. See, GL account relevant to tax. Perfect. You may post documents only to an extent of 20 lakhs only. Can you see the message down below on the left side? So this is another concept where I would actually restrict people and I would have capped their maximum limit for any kind of a transaction. Clear, students? So this is how the system behaves. Now you can see that this particular message is in a different color. It is in a darker color. So SAP has a way of indicating the messages in the sense the message could be in red or in black color. Both are dark. The other one is in yellow. The red or the black messages, whatever you get, they are critical errors. The system expects the user to rectify the error and then only will proceed. See, now I cannot do anything. See, it has blocked and the color is in red. So the system, with whatever I do, I cannot do it. All I can do is I can change the amount. Now SAP accepts. See, SAP is happy because it is less than 20 lakhs. Now I can proceed, but if it exceeds the condition, if it exceeds the limit, then I am in a problem. So SAP has ways to indicate the way the system, or rather the consultant, is allowing the system to behave. Now, the yellow colored messages, what you see, they are just informative. It just tells you. So it said it pertains to tax. Your expense account is pertaining to tax, but I could bypass it. I could ignore that, but I still made note of the message. Clear, students? So that means to say I can either have a way to block the system from proceeding, or I can also allow the system to proceed just with an information. It is all dependent on how I actually set up the system. Now, if I want, I can make that tax portion as a critical error also. So I said, you saw this. I have the expense account also. I have the expense account also. I'm not going to save this. And SAP is happy. Can you see? The last button has triggered. Okay, so the total debits is matching the total credits. So I'm perfect. I'm okay. Now, if I want the system to definitely stop me from entering this particular general ledger account, has to be done with the tax. How do I set up the system? You saw the tolerance groups. Now I want the GL to also behave in the same way. It should definitely take up the tax. So how do I, as a consultant, how do I ask the system to behave? Now just see. I'll use the same general ledger accounts. So this was 41473, 473005, debit 5,000. All right, 113, 120, credit, start. So SAP just gives me a bright message saying that GL account is relevant to tax. Now, if I want to proceed even without giving the tax information, I should be giving the tax information here. Can you see the tax code? So to whatever tax code this particular expense account is subjected to, I need to provide that. But as you can see, it is in bright color, and that's why I can press enter and system will ignore. I can also post. SAP will happily accept. But now I want this system not to behave like this. I want the system to be, or I want the user to enter the tax code. Now for that particular general ledger account. So how do I do it? I go to my bread and butter transaction code. Is it 5 or 6? It's 5. Now I will go and alter the behavior of the system of this GL account. Now can you see posting without tax allowed is checked. Now I will remove that text. Now I'll remove the checkbox, save the GL account. Data was saved. Now you will see the system behaving in a different way. See, now it says, see the behavior of the system, how I have changed. It is in red. So I would definitely have to give the tax code. So I know what is the tax code to be given. Don't worry. See, only and only when I give the tax code, SAP will proceed. Else it will not. So like this, I can alter the behavior of the system. All right, based on the requirements of the business. Students, was it interesting? Was it confusing? Lots and lots of things we can discuss here, but as long as You ask me questions, no new question. Okay. How long will it take to familiarize? Depends on how many hours you spend on the system. Clear? Uh, there's no rocket science, but practice. And also, as and when you keep getting errors, try to resolve them, try to understand. Of course, I'm not talking to you as to resolve it right now. You may not even be in a position to understand the system setup, but slowly try to get into it. Okay. And familiarization to the SAP system depends on how many hours you are trying to put in on the system. You will get badly hit. That is for sure. It will drive you to frustration, but that's a good indication that you're learning the subject. See here, my mentor used to tell me, see, as long as somebody is teaching you or using the SAP system, it is all wonderful. It is all a smooth sail. But once you start working on the system, you will know the pain. You will keep searching for even the simplest of the simplest option. Now you would have seen everything, but try to get hold of, try to work independently on the system. You will see the challenge. And dear students, there is absolutely, I'm not being negative. No, I'm not, I'm not at all discouraging you by giving you the, but as a matter of fact, even CMA is not easy. You think CMA is easy? See, people may or may not clear CMA in the first shot. See, there were cases when I was doing my CMA, people had failed in the CMA just by 2 marks. 200 was the aggregate. I think you should be aware of it. 200 was the aggregate. People used to get 198, 196, 199. All right. So it is all the constant effort you need to. So CMA is, it is all that. Clear? CMA or a CA is not easy. And so also is SA. If you want to have a, and one thing students, you can never say you know SA. If somebody tells me, or even if I tell somebody that I know SAP, I know that I'm not being fair enough. You cannot know the product. You cannot know the product inside out because each project gives you a different challenge. Each project is a different learning. You cannot apply the same solutions for every kind of a business scenario. You would have worked on the same scenario on project A, but can you apply the same solution to project B? Absolutely no. You cannot, because there the business itself may be different and the business requirement could be totally different from that of project A. So how the consultant devises the solution is how well he understands the business. Clear, students? So just think of this also to be similar to that of your CMA. I know you have your exams coming up the next month, and we are actually approaching it very fast. All right. So at least when we took up the CMA examinations, it was, as I said, it was just the day after the Christmas, 26th. So we used to have time, but considering your scenario, it is very different. And both your groups, both in the intermediate and in your finals, we had it on the 4 days. All right. So group 1 and 3 in the morning, that means to say intermediate group 1 and final group 1 in the morning, and intermediate group 2 and final group 2 in the evening, in the afternoon, 2 to 5. But now I think it has changed to 8 days. You have each group so that the person who wants to take up both the groups has good time for a quick revision. But whereas we did not have that luxury. Okay? So students, do not pressurize yourself too much. Allow yourself some time, but definitely I would say put in efforts. Try to see. That's why I always avoid transaction. I would not pick up that route at all, especially during my learning process. I would never pick up a transaction. I would always look and search for it in the system. Dear students, so don't worry, don't ever approach the subject with a thought that it is difficult and it is it's just another CM for you. And your learning is never complete. But of course, it applies to every kind of a profession now. If at all you want to be very well known or a total master, you need to have a lot of passion and you should always have the hunger to learn. Yeah, clear students? So are the topics getting interesting? How do you feel the subject as far as the concepts are concerned? Forget about you working on it. I'm not asking you, please work and come back to me with your opinion. No, take your time to work on the system. All right. I'll wait for 1 or 2 more minutes after my generic informative talk. How is the session progressing, students? I'm not going to ask you about the subject, but from the coverage perspective, how do you feel the subject is going? Any thoughts on this? Wonderful, wonderful, very nice. Learning new things. Okay, very informative, very good. So I would presume that things are going interestingly well. Right? All right. Any other questions from the subject perspective, students? Anything you want me to repeat? Any topic which you have not understood? We have 7 more minutes to sign off before lunch. So I wouldn't prefer starting a new topic. Let me just check if there is another small topic which I can definitely discuss. So from the slides perspective, we had we had to start out on accounts payable and accounts receivable. So anything else left with the general ledger? That's exactly what I was thinking. Let me just open up the. Have you people started reading the study content? I mean, not in depth, maybe at least say going through maybe say 5, 10 slides every day. Has anybody started having started to have a feel about the course content? So we were in page, I think 339 or something, or 340. Fiscal year business. Okay, I see something called as a business partner. So here we no longer use the term customers and vendors in SAP. After the onset of HANA, we have stopped calling we do not have the concept of calling or rather using the terms customers and vendors. They are referred to as business partners. Okay. Now, let us see what we can learn. Now, let us see the process, conventional process flow of AP. I don't think you need to have an elaborate explanation on this. It's self-explanatory. So let's see the payment process. Guys, as far as the accounts payable is concerned, payment process is one of the most critical of the critical activities. So how is the invoice processed? First and the foremost, you receive a invoice from your supplier or from your vendor. Invoice is assigned internally for the processing. Invoice data is entered into the accounting software, invoice checked and approved, invoice processed for payments in a concept called as a payment run, which is one of the biggest configurations in the as far as the financial consultant is concerned. Finance consultant is concerned. This is one of the most critical of the critical settings which he configures for the system to process the payments or release the payments without any errors, because it is so critical. In one way, you cannot stop the payments to your vendors. Just imagine you, a vendor or a supplier is supplying critical raw materials to your organization. Correct. Now, if you stop paying him, if you stop his payment, immediate he will stop. Immediately he will stop supplying the items. So your entire production line comes to a standstill. There is no activity. Your machinery is wasted. So lots and lots of, what should I say, repercussions are there whenever you talk about the payment run. Very interesting and a very elaborate uh, setting as far as the finance consultant is concerned, right? So we will discuss starting tomorrow. So we have the definition for a business partner. It is enough for you to know that now we have no more, we are no more using the word customers and vendors, but we are using the term business partner, and more so when you're talking about HANA. Yeah. So we will take it up from tomorrow. Clear? So Kunal, can we break for lunch?
Yeah. Thank you, student, for joining a lovely session of SAP. Right now, again, we are closing the session for right now, and we will again join you too. Stay tuned and stay updated.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Thank
students.
you. Thank you.